I'm here with actor Jordi Vilasuso, who many of you recognize from just about every daytime drama that's still on television. But he has just launched a passion project that really doesn't see him in front of the camera, but is just as passionate about that as he is about his acting career. So why don't you talk a little bit about what's going on?
Well, I may be in front of the camera because I do a lot of my sessions
Technically,
on
yes.
Zoom, which I love. I love the accessibility. Um, and you know, uh, previously, right before this happened, I had to move inside because there was like I think there's a wasp's nest outside of my room, so I'm working on getting over my fear of bugs. But a wasp like coming close to me during this is not going to work. So let's just
We don't need you to
that's
go to
just for reference.
anaphylactic shock either during the interview.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, that would be something.
That'd be a ratings grab, right?
For sure. For sure. No acting necessary.
No,
Uh, Bryan, it's so good to see you,
it's
man.
great to see you
It's
too, bud.
been, I think I saw you at Samantha's Friends, right?
It's almost a year already.
Almost a year. Are you going to be at the next one?
I will not. No, I won't be there.
Okay. Well, that's
It's
too
coming up.
bad, but
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see each other soon, sooner than later.
Yeah.
And
Sounds
if
good.
any, in any case, this works. This works.
Absolutely.
Um, so yeah, I was telling you earlier that this idea of now the present, the moment, time, I've just been kind of obsessed with the idea of time. Uh, we could say vanity reasons for sure. We get older, we age, starts stuff starts happening that we either accept or don't, and we start, doing various things to suppress time coming into our lives. But what I felt in husbandry, let's call it, and being a married man, fatherhood, um, my acting, really. I mean, for me, it was always being in the moment. That was the most important thing. Like really, just being available and open to what was happening in the moment, so I could really have an experience on camera.
Hmm.
That's to me, that's like the top. Like if I could do that, just even have like a small moment of that while I'm working, that's like the best feeling in the world. So for me, this idea, as I told you before, came to me like I remember where I was. I was on Days of Our Lives. I was on my couch with my wife. We were watching, and I had this idea of there's a saying created by a comic strip writer. I believe his name was Keen, something Keen. Well, he created Family Circus, let's say, and it's something like I have it on the actual IG um, kind of title. It's called yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why we call it the present. So for me, that was like, oof, wow, that hit me. Um, so I thought, wow, how can I like use that as a philosophy in living my life
Mm.
and living and uh, don't get it twisted. Like this thing that I'm preaching and working on, this is a work in progress for myself. Like I constantly am reminding myself of, you know, things may not be working out or things may be great. And I'm, really kind of harping on how, but really it's the moment. It's, it's me talking to Bryan right now. Um, whatever it is that's coming right now, but just being grateful for this. Right. And, and so I started playing with the idea a lot. And then as I told people before on my social media, like I was approached by someone online to see if I would coach them, and then I started kind of taking on this coaching thing and really just working on it, like anything else, like working on the craft of coaching, really
Was the
seeing what that
coaching,
was.
was that, sorry to interrupt you, was the
No,
coaching
please,
acting coaching or life coaching?
both,
Mm.
both. But it was first primarily life coaching, and then I've been coaching actors who approach me online, and my wife has as well for a long time, and we haven't even really put that out there either because for a lot of reasons. But really, the thing that I wanted to get into was this. I've always been fascinated by psychology,
Mhm.
so I wanted to jump into this, and I got certified during the pandemic in uh, life coaching, let's call it.
Mhm.
Um, And I felt like, you know what, like let me just work on this before I announce it. And I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to announce something, I'm going to need like a place where people can actually learn and see what I'm about. So I created the website nowthepresent.com,
Mhm.
and from there, just put out some free resources, some stuff that I thought would help people, and I'm really proud of it. I love it. It's very Christian based. I felt like I wanted to come out and be clear that I'm Christian. I'm a practicing Catholic. I also go to a non-denominational church with my wife. But that's something that I've been wanting to share, that testimony of myself, and really not necessarily. I felt like for whatever reason, right? I had to hide that in some ways, and now I'm just like, no, this is like what I believe in,
Mhm.
and I just wanted to share that. So it's in that framework. And when I work with individuals, I mean, I work with Orthodox Jews, you know, that and but I still tell them like, hey, you're a practicing Jew. Like, let's get into that prayer life. Like, what does that really mean to you? You know, so it's across the board. It's across the board.
That's awesome.
Um, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, it's not always easy to speak out publicly in the entertainment industry about faith and how important it is. So that's great. That is actually T in gift is testimony, which is, you know, Christians speak for, what God has given in our lives. And like, this is a testimony of what I've gone through because he's been by my side, that thing kind of thing. So it's really beautiful that you're embracing that publicly and, not feeling like you have to hide behind it.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Someone whose testimony has struck me so intensely, and I'm so proud of his journey, is Jonathan Rumi. I worked with Jonathan almost 10 years ago on Days of Our Lives, and we took a
Really?
liking to each other. Yeah, yeah, he was on Days of Our
Oh,
Lives,
that.
and
For
we
those who
had
don't know,
coffee
Jonathan Rumi plays Jesus in The Chosen.
in the Chosen. Yeah, and I've just been watching his journey, and I'm so proud of him and what he's about. He's the real deal, and
Mhm.
he's got a beautiful testimony. I was just seeing something online about his testimony. You know, he's doing all this press right now for The Chosen and the various projects that he's doing. So I thought, testimony for me gives me so much. Just it could be a random testimony. So in my process,
Mhm.
I think it coming full circle is sharing your testimony to not only encourage others but to pay it forward in some way. So you're benefiting the greater good by doing this gift practice.
Yes. Yes. And Jesus did say, go out and make disciples. So in a way,
Right, make disciples, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like the guy on the megaphone on the corner of the street. It's just it's natural organic curiosity of what someone is about and coming from a real place. Like if I were to be grateful for the fact that I can stand, I have friends who unfortunately can't stand.
Mhm.
Um, and just having that and just thinking what does that mean? And just living in that space just for a moment, just giving yourself permission to be like, I can actually stand.
Mhm.
That gives you something. That gives
Yes.
me something. And then and then so from there we and this really deals with whatever you're facing, right? So it's really about obstacles or getting out of a depression of
Mhm.
sorts, like a framework. Like I work with people who are, for whatever reason, they're like, it hasn't happened yet.
Mhm.
And that's a limiting belief. Like, right? Okay, it hasn't had like, and I could, check off 1,000 boxes of what hasn't happened yet. But it's really about that's such like you're already setting yourself up. Instead, like let's be grateful for what you actually have right now is that you're alive. And then, okay, well, what do you want? So then you have your intention. Because when you're in that space of like this low energy space, this kind of crippling space, you're not open to what God can actually give you because you're saying you don't trust God. Like you're like, oh, And it's like, no, no, no. Be grateful for what he's given you. And now take agency and say, okay, like, let me actually think about what it is. And then follow through with faith, right? And I will bet you everything I have that you will see light coming through when you take on that process. And when you have that light, you share it with someone else. And that's what I'm about. That's what the process is about. And it doesn't have to be something huge, you know?
Right.
It's really about shifting the framework that you're living in so you can allow God to work in your life. And in doing that, you serve others in doing that.
So what does it look like if someone books a session with you? Is there like I don't want to use the word treatment plan. I'm not sure what wording you use, but
Mm-hmm.
is there like a set amount of sessions that you work towards a goal, or is it organic based on each person?
Right now, it's organic based on each person. I really say, like, where are they at? Do they want to just test the waters? Let's just do a session. Let's just have a conversation.
Mhm.
And then if they want to really hit the ground running, I'd say let's do weekly, buy a package, and we'll work that way. There's accountability for sure where I check in with them and make sure that they're hitting their benchmarks every week. Um, there's even, there's if they're open to it and they are in the faith journey, I pray with them. We pray together, and I allow that to be a safe space for prayer because I feel that God is here right now and that He wants the greater good of that of all of us.
Mhm.
And then when I do check in with them, I say, okay, let's share that testimony. Like if they're having wins, um, share it with your mom, share it with with your partner, share it with your children, so you can lift them up and share the process.
Mhm.
Um, so that's really what it is. And I was just working with an individual yesterday, and I felt like this, for lack of a better word, this high because he was like, oh, he was hitting this wall, and I go, just stop. And we went back and we reflected on all of the action that he had taken during. I mean, he had taken like 5 action steps just during our meeting.
Mhm.
And I said, do you see that? Like, and we don't know what is going to happen from the action that you've taken, but don't put it out there that you think it hasn't happened yet. Just trust. And then he went for a walk outside, and he gets to enjoy his day.
Mhm.
Um, but we live in a time, I think, and I know others share this thought, this kind of this opinion that we live in a time of instant gratification. Like we want it now, like it's due, instead of like letting things naturally come and taking the right steps, taking the right action, and then just trusting that it will come. It's not going to just come on its own. You have to take the action. You have to put it out there. And a lot of what I do and a lot of what I found people kind of hinders them from taking action is that this accountability exercise.
Mhm.
So I have an accountability contract on my website that's kind of just like a little taste of what I do. And it's usually for people who just want to kind of see what it is. So I say, sign up, use the contract. You can go to I believe it's on the faith part of it. And I say, use the contract. You take a picture of it. You text it or you email it to me, and you set a time of when you want to accomplish that goal or that task,
Mhm.
and I'll follow up with you right after, and we'll just have a kind of chat of how that went, and then from there, um, you can sign up for more contracts, or you could just work on it with coaching with me.
Nice. And I know you can go right on the website and book appointments on your own, correct?
Correct. You can go to the website, you can book appointments, and you can also check out. I have like I believe I have like three different recordings there. I have one that I have a gratitude recording, I have an intention setting recording, and I have a recording that I which the one that excites me the most is the visualization intention setting exercise for the next day, which you do the previous night. So right as you're ready to go to sleep, you put on this like 10-minute recording and you do this visualization exercise that, man, that I've done myself,
Mhm.
and it's there's things, if you're open, if you stay open, you'll see like doors, light starting to come into your world the next day. And and it really excites me. I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, it's all about faith, really,
It is.
and believing in that higher power, regardless of your denomination. Um,
Yeah, 100%.
and now, a lot of times in the, someone who's spirit filled will say something is their calling, and people up to this point may have felt your calling was acting. Have you kind of shifted a little bit to think your calling may be this next step of helping people?
No, 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 no. I love acting. It's something that I've worked on for, I've invested a lot of my life in acting. Um, I just wanted to do something that I felt was that you're always, unless you're, which I'm working on as well. Like I have a lot of different irons in the fire trying to produce things and act in many different projects, but like you're really at the effect you really, it's hard to have a lot of agency as an actor who's always like, I'm auditioning, I'm sending out tapes, you never hear anything, you're calling, you're like, it's a hustle. So for me it was like, okay, well that still is in my life, but the thing that I enjoy as well is really um the strategizing, the praying with others, the sharing, the growing with other people, the going along the journey with them. And I get a lot of fulfillment out of it. And it's all, I don't necessarily think they're really that different. It's really about communicating. It's really about listening,
Yeah,
to the story. Because I've been in soap operas, and we deal with high level drama, high conflict, and a lot of individuals, they're going through some stuff, man.
yeah.
And I'm hanging in there with them. I've cried with individuals. I laugh, I cry, I pray with them. It's the whole gambit of things. So I don't necessarily think this takes away from it. And then there's also the acting coaching, which has its own um, space
Mhm.
for when I work. But yeah, no, this is the same thing, because it's all about for me, acting, it's all about the human experience. And when you hear the stories, the real stories, they say truth is stranger than fiction. It's crazy. Like you hear things that will just be like, are you serious? Like that is really happening? And it's like, yeah. And the fact that I can be there with someone, along with them in a real way, and some way somehow help them, that feeds me on a level that I feel like I'm doing God's work, like I'm really doing something that I'm proud of. So yeah, that's what kind of pulled me. For lack of a better word, I felt like a calling to do this.
Mhm.
I don't know where it's gonna end. I don't know where I'll end up with it. I'm just right now living in this space where I've made a decision to put this out there in a real way. And um, it's a vulnerable space because I'm known as an actor, not as and the term life coach even throws me. I'm like, I don't even like that. That comes with so many things. I just
Yes.
like this idea of serving others,
Mhm.
and to serve means a lot, and that's part of being Christian, is to serve others. And I found that it fulfills me in a way that acting fulfills me.
Yeah,
So I felt like stepping into this role feels very organic. So I've decided to say, you know what, I'm just gonna do it.
there has been somewhat of a less of a I don't even know what word to use, but like it's become more acceptable to be able to put out Christian content. Um, and you have some friends from YNR and well, actually they were all in YNR in days, but Justin Gasson and Melissa Ordway, Scott Reeves,
Mm-hmm.
they're all
Mm-hmm.
very they're not shy about their Christianity, which so
No,
it'd be really cool to see a project with all you guys together, even if it was like a documentary type thing.
yeah, that would be amazing. I have so much respect for Scott and Melissa and all of them. They're great people. They're great friends. They're great parents,
Mhm.
and they've shared some wisdom and some encouragement along the journey for me as well. So yeah, I think it's important. And Christian storytelling. There was an article that just came out in the New York Times of how big Christian storytelling is becoming and how people want more of that content put out there. So I've, it's funny because I'll see things that um, casting notices for things like The Chosen, and I tell my manager, I was like, I know it's 2 lines, but just put it out there. Like I want to jump on the show because I want to be part of something that's really impactful in that
Yes.
way. And I don't think I've ever done played a role which really deals with the story, with the Christian story, or of course, there's been morality stuff, but nothing that's specific to that. If you're watching and you got something,
Yeah.
I'm
I'll,
here.
I'll get in touch with Jonathan in Dallas. Question
There
for
you go.
Do you think at this stage of your life it's been easier to also have this be a partner to your acting as opposed to when you were younger? And we've spoken in the past about when you were on Guiding Light and you were young and winning Emmys and like, living the New York life. Like, do you look back at that point and wish you had the you of now in you then?
I wish I had some sort of mentorship, and I did. I did have a little bit, but in this way, I feel like young people, and that's another thing that I'm open to. Like I always like I'll have parents um, who are having trouble with their kids, and I say, listen, and for free, I said, do you want me to just call them and just check in on them? So like I do that kind of stuff too because like I feel like it would help them. Um, but mentorship, even in the acting industry, when the studio system first started, like you had a mentor, like you had an actor who you would work under and you would build that life. But mentorship has really declined over the years. Um,
There's no time
yeah,
for things
I
shot so fast. It's just like get in, do your
right.
lines, get out, go home, save money on,
Yeah,
on the cruise here.
it's all about saving money at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, I do think that mentorship is something that's growing right now. I'm seeing it a lot more in our world, and I do wish I had more of that. I had my parents who I love to death, but and they were great parents. Like I have fantastic parents, but the kind of mentorship as a young actor going into this business, which I had this idea of what it was or what it was supposed to be, and I had like really great success early on, um, and nobody be like, hey, you might want to check into this or check into that. Um, I think could really serve individuals who to prolong their success and have happier, healthier, more fulfilling lives in this career that it's a tough one, because the actor's job is always to get the next job, as the saying goes, and that leaves you in a space of sometimes desperation. Sometimes you'll do things that you really shouldn't be doing.
Mhm.
Um, so for me, yeah, I think that for whatever reason, I didn't necessarily have it to the degree that I wanted to have it, and now I feel like I've been on the journey long enough that I can share it with others and serve the greater good by doing it.
Yeah, and I think it's also a testament to how much stronger your faith is. I mean, you've gone through trials and things that would break people as well. I know you and Caitlin unfortunately lost a pregnancy, but then you were
Two
also
pregnancies.
2 pregnancies, right? But then
Yeah,
we're also
yeah,
given the blessing after that. It's and even like these aren't little things. Caitlin would probably yell at me for saying this, but even like when your wedding was about to be like blown away from from a
yeah,
hurricane, like
yeah.
like little things like that takes faith to step out and move forward in these things. And it also gives um it shows the heart behind it that you're able to survive these things, give credit to where it's due or to who it's due to, and then help others see that in their own journey.
Yeah, I think one of the things that has served me in this journey and talking about time is um, I don't think I've done it this year, but no, I'll probably do it this summer. But I usually once a year go on a retreat,
Mm.
and it could be like a 48-hour retreat. It could be a 48-hour fast, silent retreat, and you can either, you know, you find a time when your family is leaving, or you find a time, or you find a space where you can go. And I did it with my men's group, and the reflection, and giving yourself the permission of that time to grow in your relationship with God, to grow in your relationship with this life that you've been living, and really kind of like look at it. It's so beneficial to your growth as a person. It's a great reset. So I suggest that anyone who really, um, is curious about, you know, maybe they've hit a lull, or they're curious about exploring the spiritual, maybe they're having a spiritual awakening, or maybe they feel a calling to it, to take some time,
Mhm.
right? And take 2 days and go on a fast, and give it to God during that time. And there's some exercises that the individual could do that, if anybody's curious, they just, DM me, or whatever, message me, and I'll share some other things that. But there's some reflections that you can do that you'd be like, oh wow, like during that time I was really close to God during that time, and all these things were working out, and you can actually see how God has had His hand in that time in your life.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah,
And it's
goes
not just
back to the
good
idea
times. It's in all the times.
all the times. Right, but sometimes we choose not. We choose to shut God out of our lives. We have that pride, right? And we're just like, no, I got this. And you can also, when you reflect on that, you can kind of see, oh, okay, well then I wasn't on the path. You got to get back on the path if you want the blessing to come, or you learn, or you see the lessons that you got from that time in your journey.
Mhm. Jordy, it's been really great catching up with you guys. If you want to learn more, visit nowthepresent.com. You can book a session with Jordy. Obviously, as he said throughout the interview, he's open to responding through DMs before jump into like any sort of full on hour or half hour sessions. But um, I can say from knowing you for 20 plus years, probably closer to 30, you know
Yeah,
how gifted you are in helping others. Um, while some of the fans watching this are gonna know you from your acting roles, I know personally there's a different side there that I've had the benefit of having as a friend. So, guys, check it out. Reach out to him with all your questions, and I really just I'm so blessed to have had this time with you.
and the feeling is mutual, my friend. Bryan has an incredible testimony as well, and an incredible heart, a Christian heart. And God bless him, and God bless you all. Thank you for having me, Bryan. I really, really appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you.